Good evening, everyone. Fantastic show here for with happiness of love and luck and love, and everything that comes in between. Um, I am actually watching a football game on TV too, and this football game, both teams I don't like. If there is a way this both teams can lose or tie this game, that will work. But the problem is, one team is actually winning. Ooh, they are 22. Okay, Chicago is 22. Minnesota is 6. So you can imagine. Okay, I want both to lose, but that's not happening. So, what is this poem and this show is about? This show is generally I was just doing a show. Then two incidents that happened with which I wrote this particular poem. But I will come to the poem a little later once I finish saying why would I do a show uh, with this poem today. That's something part of this whole show. If I'm going to actually say why I wrote the poem, the events connecting to the poem, if I'm going to say all that, I kind of keep on moving. Recently, somebody said, "Okay, you are moving, every time." And I am a guy who's not a settled guy. I mean, that means I keep on moving. I unsteady myself with things. If nothing works, I'll go bump around. Ding, ding. uh, said all that, the reason why I'm doing this tonight, um, there is a visitor in my website called LonelyPoet.com. I think in a couple of my older shows, I have clearly said LonelyPoet.com, in between I need to watch the game too. Okay, see, I'm a big football fan. I actually was telling this person who visits my site. Uh, I have told a couple of times before, at least a couple of times, there was this full show I have done connecting to this particular matter, where somebody is coming and visiting my site and keep on clicking on links and things like that. Doesn't spend a lot. I looked at the time. How much time that person spends on each post. It's like maybe less than a minute. In some of the most of the posts. There are only some posts where that person comes back and look at it, and this is where it makes it very interesting. How do I know this? If I can show you, because this is a massive log, and the log clearly tells me what IP address this person is coming from. That IP address cannot be hidden. Now the thing is, this person hearing what all I said and wrote in different blog posts got a little smarter and started using something called VPN, virtual private networks. And VPN access, they use that virtual private service. You can use a VPS server or a VPN, both which you can get another IP address and you can connect to that particular service, and then only that service's IP address will show it to me. And this is what makes it interesting. I think I have told in one of my posts that I am a behavior analyst. That means my job is to analyze how a person works with software. This is part of my life. This is my bread and butter, where I look at an application, a software application, and see how a person behaves in that application. This actually tells me what is the requirement of that person. That makes me a requirements analyst. Then that business process is something which I write down as a business process, and then later that will be given to a software developer. He will understand, yeah, this is what exactly I need to develop so that it works for the business folks. So the business here is this particular person coming and looking into it, and this person behaves, how it behaves. Based on that behavior, there's a reverse engineering part in it, which is who is that person, or technically speaking, what exactly that person is looking for. It may be one or two people together, or two different people. One was there, one is not there. It could be. It could be either. So I cannot simply say this is that person based on but behaviors and from what it looks. That person, I'm pretty much sure. This is where it comes to a little complicated because I told somebody that I asked somebody very openly, are you that person? Are you the one who's looking into it? The answer was like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You see, that response is really kind of tells you, okay, I smiled and left. Then, it kind of continued. Then it stopped. Then this happens, the VPS change. And but behavior didn't change. The person comes and looks, tuck, 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 all my poems, like in once in a month or once in 15 days. I think it was 15 days. Came and looked at it, took a chunk. That means whoever is coming in trying to actually copy or screenshot these poems and posts. That's where I have an objection about. You can come and read my poems, and I have clearly given terms and services in that website and both my blog site as well as LonelyPoet.com that you cannot copy my works. You cannot copy any images from there. I have made it very clear. Understand, this is a site that has been constantly visited by people from India, Pakistan, China, Russia, Costa Rica, South American countries, whoever speaks English. That's the thing. Many of the South American countries and East European countries, their problem is they are not very clear with English. They may have, many of them use a translator and they get lost in the translation process. But India and Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and some of the Middle Eastern countries from where many people comes into my Facebook, they know English very well. They understand that these are copyrighted material. You cannot just take the material and use it by themselves. I don't know a lot about Chinese because, the Chinese visitors are really weird. They use all these kind of softwares and other things to hide themselves. But I know because there are two logs. One, the WordPress on which the site is sitting, it has a stat counter log, which actually generates all these things, which is very colorful. It gives me all the details. If I can just go there, I can see it, tick, 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 each and every one of them sitting. There, you can actually use a browser, like, browser privacy things. Some of them work, sometimes it may not really work at all. But, if you use Mozilla, Firefox, you can actually hide yourself, from there. But that doesn't work with the server log. My website is lonelypoet.com, and I have direct access to the root logs where anybody who comes into that website, I can clearly say that this person has come. So I need to only match the IP address from the stats log. It's a tedious process, but this particular one, when somebody behaves weird, I actually go and look at who is this person, and it will clearly tell me the root IP address from that person came. Well, if you go to Canadian servers like OBS, I know that's where one of them came, or somewhere, and it differs from place to place to place. They actually change the IP address. That means this person is coming and looking for something. Now, that person, if you are watching this video, understand, if you have something to ask me, you ask me. If you have a request, you ask me. Or if you're trying to steal my works, no matter where you go, I will find you. This is where yesterday and day before yesterday, I was actually doing a show where, somebody told you are threatening a person. I said, I have to defend myself. I have to defend my works. So no matter who you are, I will find you. I will get you and I will arrest you. I will get you arrested. You are going to jail for stealing copyrighted material. That is the problem here. But otherwise, I welcome each and every person, the people who likes me, people who hates me, people who don't like my work, people who hate my work, people who think that, it is, this is not poetry, this is something else, all those people, I warm welcome them to my website. I don't actually handpick who are my readers. If you go to Sajumon Ashan account on my Facebook, you can see the list of people who adds me. My own family members actually complained, many of the women who actually add you as friend, or many of the women friends you have, they don't wear many clothes. I said, they are prostitutes. There are a lot of prostitutes there. If the pictures are not too explicit where they are showing everything, I let them add me as a friend. I cannot go and handpick my readers. I'm a writer. I write poetry. So I cannot say, oh, prostitutes cannot read my poetry, or some thieves from who are sitting in a jail cannot read my poetry. This is a poetry website. These links who is posted on Facebook, it will go directly to my website where they can read my poetry. I want as many people as possible to read the poetry. That is the idea behind actually posting all these things. So there is no don't need to get upset. Who adds me as a friend, who don't add. There are people, private people who actually say, okay, I care about who adds me as a friend. Some people actually use their Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp and all the other these social media interactions to do business. Because when I was in Boston store, I was working at Boston store, and when I was there, many people come and ask me, "Oh, you have Facebook? Oh, okay, take my Facebook." They add that, but that is a business line. That's another thing. They don't want many of the personal things. They don't happen there many personal things they don't want to disclose in those accounts. I totally understand that, but when you come and link and go, that's why I keep all the things outside into my own website, so that I know who comes to my website, what they do in my website, whether they're trying to copy it. From the behavior I understand copying is happening. Why don't you read it? And if you have a question, you can write a comment there. These things are the ones you should be doing. That's what I truly appreciate. If you don't like the poem, or if you have an objection about what I'm writing inside my poetry sites, you can tell that. That's where things are. So this is the reason, because yesterday I have written this poem, and in this poem I'm telling two events. One, a raccoon. It's a creature. This is really happened, because let me have a sip of my tea. I'm drinking tea. This fantastic tea. If you ever come to my house, I'll make you good tea. Okay, but you need to come to my house. I'm not coming to your house and making my tea and give it to you. No, that's not happening. When I come to your house, you make me tea. Now, all this heated talk, what was it about? There are two events. One, a poet or me. It happened to me. Okay, so when I'm actually saying, I have to say, I admit that I wrote in third person. I was coming from, I went to different stores and I need to meet a couple of people and all those things. Finishing evening, I'm coming in. When I was actually coming in, my garage door opener really screwed up. How it all messed up, I can, that's maybe I will do it in a different step. But I cannot open the garage with a remote control. So I opened the gate from the back into the backyard. When I was opening the gate, I can see there is a raccoon sitting right in front of my back door to get into my house. That's where I leave a bowl of this food, cat food, every evening. So this thing is sitting there and eating, but there is no cat food in there. It's all finished because cats will come and eat during daytime. So this guy is looking. It's very early in the evening, but it's dark. I can see the raccoon. So I open the gate, and usually when I open the gate and they hear any kind of noise, these things will run away. But this particular raccoon is not running. Then I can see it's a lame one. He's jumping. Giving a little jump. So he just moved to this thing sideways because he knows, okay, I'm coming in. So I came in. I went there. I took all my stuff. I got in there. The first thing I did was I took a bowl of this cat food, put it outside so that it can eat. So the raccoon ate that and I went in. After some time, I don't disturb these creatures. I mean, they are poor creatures. They are looking for food. And in this late fall, early winter time, here it snowed a couple of times already. These things don't get any food. That's the reason why I put the food there. So they came in. So after like about 15-20 minutes, I know there's a bird feeder there. I need to fill in the bird feeder. So I thought if this guy is gone, I can actually fill in the bird feeder. So I was looking at it. When I came out, I cannot see it. Then I can see this guy is sitting on a tree. Yeah, there is a maple tree, and he's in my backyard, and he's sitting on top of the tree. Somehow, because it's not a big tree, he can easily climb that. That's why it's safe there too. His strategy was right. But that raccoon is like, I looked, this guy is okay, and he's like, he looked at me and turned the face around. And that kind of reminded me of an event that happened. That's the event I'm going to say. These are the two events I'm talking about. The second event which happened before all that, was when I was sitting in the food court of a mall, and I was sitting there and writing, and I had one of my friends who's with me. So he joined me. Lal, he's an Indian guy. So we both were sitting, and I can see someone very familiar to me. He's walking towards me. I smile. You know, she's coming. She's a beautiful girl. Uh, and when she reached near me, she turned the face around, and maybe 4 or 5 steps until she passes away, took the face completely away from me, so that she don't have to even look at me or smile at me. Seemed like the raccoon that he don't exist. If I look by, sideways, he don't exist. She walked away, and I at that time I laughed out loud, and told my friend, this girl and me, we had a little argument, and she just turned the face away. So that incident, these two incidents are connected, and I'm writing. When I put that in there, after 2 days back, the obvious hit came. Like about 12 or 15 posts that person went into. Yesterday night at 2:30 in the morning, I can see from my log, this person came in from a different IP and looked for this particular poem, Happiness of Luck and Love. Let's read that poem so that we'll know. I think there is a delay in this because maybe in the evening, and my face looks a little reddish. Is it okay with my face? Actually, it is some sort of color thing from this thing, I think. Yeah. I'm not angry. Don't think I'm angry. Okay, I think it is just some thing happening on my face. Either it is some allergy. Oh man, I'm getting red. So you can call me, oh, there is the red Dinkin. Many people, when I had long hair, many people actually misunderstood me as a Native American. My face looks okay. It's something to do with the OBS software. Okay, let's read the poem so that you will know what I'm talking about. Let's bring this in. Okay, the name of the poem, as you can see, as always, okay, this is the way I speak. Oh boy, now I lost everything. Something should go wrong, isn't it? Okay, the name of the poem is Happiness of Luck and Love. Summer's fury in thick clouds and wind collapsed as the sun took his chariots to south, leaving a chill. Trees shook in winds and leaves whispered prayers to hold on tight as autumn and winter woke up north. Chaos, humanity's manufactured curse danced, and people finished with all ways to divide and kill. Weapons forged, armed to the teeth, they all live. Politicians failed in methods, and policies brewed new hatred. Through the dark roads he drove as the cold grew in anger. Still the daily chores without fail completed and drove home. At his door he saw a broken-legged raccoon scrambling for food. The sight took a beat or two of his heart in the cold and rain. The world may throw cruel tantrums at his life, and life in those cruelty found brutality into his nerves. Still deep inside stays a soul from God's own glow made, and that soul told not to sleep without feeding the creature in cold. Never cared for the cold November rain, and he took the cat food he bought for the creatures in his backyard lived, laid the food and to his house with a prayer he left. Then later in the night to see the creature ate or not he checked. So the creature not high but upon the tree the raccoon sat, and the kind man looked up at the creature to check his welfare, but the creature, as if saw a repulsive monster, turned his face. The soul never swayed, but sprouted a smile upon his face. The smile came as he remembered a lovely girl he loved, louder from his heart and soul in the best of all he knew. But she erased her smile from her face when he told her what he felt, and away from him looked the last time he saw her, and a tear smiled. He left the creature and the night and falling rain to their shores. When sat in the warmth of home once more, soul made him smile, for he knows the right he, he did, and what happened in real life indeed happens to people in different but mysterious ways. Ah, his soul to his conscience through his smile whispered to live in happiness without mysteries of luck and love. See, this is what I was actually saying. This poem is talking about that event, and it clearly tells me the person who know who knew about this event, that event that happened in the mall, which I'm talking about, the girl, it is that person who came and took the poem yesterday night. So here is once more I'm saying, I'm pleading, I'm actually, do not make me do things that I don't want to do. I will legally go after you, and I have every legal right to protect my works. And this happened before, and if you are legally trying to challenge me, I will not. You will not succeed. You will not. There are lawyers in this country who will actually destroy you. Yesterday, these are the things that many people actually said. What was the actual threat? I said, take it as a threat. I'm going to do this. But, I'm not a threatening guy. Like I said, okay, when I say it's a threat, I'm not threatening. I don't want to do any of these things. If you like me, you come and talk to me. And if you don't want to talk directly to me, there are multiple ways you can talk to me. There is Facebook, there is Twitter, there is WhatsApp, there is what other things are there? Email. You can find your email, lonelypoet at lonelypoet.com, lonelypoet at gmail.com, lonelypoet at poetrybox.us. Write to me, or Riaz Ahmed at riazahmed.com. I have nothing to hide. See, I don't do anything illegal. I don't do anything weird. So I have nothing to hide. Or wherever I go, I'll immediately post a picture from that place in my Facebook saying that I'm here. You know why? I have nothing to hide. I'm not doing anything bad. I'm not doing anything illegal. So I have no problem in telling where I am, what I'm doing. Okay? That's me. This is me. Many people actually ask me, why would you do that? I said, that's me. This is the way I live. You see, you cannot look into another person's life through this. Okay, like this. There is a world out there. In that world, there are a lot of things happen. It's not just how you live that matters to others. It's not that how others behave that matters to you too. You need to understand. You can say, I don't like you because of this. I will totally accept that. I don't like you because you are of a different kind, or I have a different boyfriend. I have a boyfriend, so I cannot like you. I will take it. Or, one bright morning you can come and say, you are too old for me, or you are too young for me. I have told that to a girl once, because that girl was actually, her name was, I think, Ingrid? Ingrid, yeah. I was in Zanga.com. This Ingrid girl, it is a very funny thing. She was 18 or 19. Yeah, I think she was, yeah, it was 19th birthday. And she was kind of sending me romantic messages. And I told, okay, I have already dealt with a very young person at that time. Just because that girl is around that age, like 19, at that time, Mokushla was 20 years old. I told her, this girl, Ingrid, that, Ingrid, I have already dealt with a very young person. It just doesn't work. That's not the reason. It's not your age that matters. I do not have any such feelings for you. Like the other girl told me, I do not have any such feelings for you. Stop. Let's stop it there. Main reason, connecting to a very young person is not that easy. But Ingrid, you are too young. No man in his mid 30s should be looking at a girl, okay, 18, half of his age. That means about 18, 19 years old. I said 18, 19 years in the college. You enjoy your college life. There are romances that happens in college life, high school life, middle school life. You move on from there. So it just doesn't work in the same way. There are multiple reasons that can come in. Here is a person who understands me, and who knows this is the way I am, and then expect something different, accept or criticize everything as weird. That's not how people live. People understand this is how a person is. And if you feel that person is dangerous to you, you can bring up to that person and say, This these actions of you is making me feel uncomfortable. There is no problem in saying that. Where you give that person an opportunity to change his behavior, change his character. Because when I'm writing and I'm putting in these real life events into my poetry, some people will not get comfortable. That is very sure. Not all people are going to be comfortable with this. My own relatives, my own brothers actually tell me, why are you writing certain things? I said, that's my choice. When I'm writing about a specific person, I normally don't put those people, their identity into my poetry. That defeats the purpose. Otherwise, I should be writing their biography with their permission. I'm not doing that. I just take the event and put it in there. It's the event. If I'm putting in somebody's identity into my poetry, then there is a problem. Then I'm wrong. That is totally wrong. I'm not supposed to put in there. I've been writing poetry for nearly 30 years. Okay? And I know how to write this, and people who come and object, oh man, you're putting in this event. I said, that's the way I write. This, how else a poet or other kind of storytellers, how are they going to get events from their life? They hear something, things that happens to them, or they read about something. Based on that, they actually take the event, use it to you go to, many people actually take a newspaper, okay, read newspaper from news event, and when they actually start writing, they actually convert that into poetry. That's how people write. They look into nature and take events from nature, and if Mother Nature is going to come and actually going to say, hey, idiot, you cannot tell my story. No, many people get inspired by things I write. Okay, when I write things, even I think Mukushta once actually told me, how do you do this? She genuinely asked me, how do you do this? Because at that time I was actually taking real life events and writing poetry. Yesterday's, okay? That means any event that happened yesterday, I write as a poem today. It goes through timelines. Morning, I woke up like this. I did that certain things. These events, but I make it into a poem. I mean, it's not like, I went and ate, lunch. I say, lunchtime, I went this and this is what I felt about it. That's there is a dream part into it. That I write. So Mukushla asked me at that time, yes, why are you writing this, and how do you come out with these ideas? I said, okay, you need to look into a real life event and see the good. Every event have a good, bad, sad part in it. Somebody is going to get touched. If everything is hunky-dory between people and their events that are happening in their life, then it is all not going to be a very boring thing. It's all going to be a very boring thing, not a very, very pleasant thing for everyone, because it's boring. When happiness, the only thing that happens to people, it will be boring. You understand? When everybody is happy, life becomes boring. When somebody suffers, you help that person to, in that suffering with whatever happiness you can give. That's what makes life dynamic. That's what makes life fantastic. Do you understand? And if you don't understand that, next time you see me, you can call me. You can hold on to my, neck and ask me, what the fuck you think you are doing? I have no problem in you doing that. I have no problem in anyone doing that. What the fuck you think is this? You can ask me. You don't ask me. You're going around and talking to dumbass people, whatever the heck you want to talk as gossips. You can sit and talk shit for 24 hours straight and get nothing done. The only thing you need to ask is, do you like me or not? Or you can tell another person, I like you for who you are. Because unless and otherwise that's happening, the life you live by avoiding all other things, those things will come back to you and it will become such a nasty things. I have seen it happening to people. It becomes a curse. Nobody need to curse you. Okay? Nobody need to put any magic spell on you. Some people actually told me, magic spells, do you do magic spells? I said, I don't know any voodoo. I don't do magic, even though I said, okay, that's when people actually say, oh, there's an underlying reason for all these things. The underlying reason is your own attitude to others. Do not do things as you are young. And there are many people who are young who come. Say, most of the people who are on my Facebook, my Facebook page, LonelyPoet, you can see they are very young. I looked at the demographics. The age group is basically from about 15 to 30. That's the age group. There are, older people beyond the age of 40 does not exist in my demographics of reading people reading poetry. I wanted them, I always wish, if I how can I target them in my advertisement, things like that. I'm still working on it to find a way to get to their Facebook, because in India and Pakistan there are a lot of English knowing people who use these kind of things. I mean, devices now. I need to get into them. That's why I want to reach people, as many people as possible, so they understand. And all those people who are watching this show, who see this recording of this, should understand this is how life works. There is no silver bullet, or there is no one mold where life works. It actually is dynamic, but there are fundamental laws, fundamental rules in which a person becomes good. Okay, and that's where you should be, rather than just thinking or assuming another person as a bad person. No, not all people are bad. There are bad. There is bad in every person, but there is also good in every person. Look for the good of it. You will love it.